My name is Rhude. I'm the project coordinator at the Catholic Apostolate Center. Greetings from Rome. We just wrapped up the Post-Synodal Forum on young people, or as we would say in the United States, on youth and young adults, that was put on by the Dicastery for Laity, Family, and Life. This forum went on for 3 full days and 1 half day and brought together over 250 young people from across the world from over 110 countries. The morning started with prayer, and then we followed up with presentations by members of the Dicastery, as well as young people, youth and young adults who were gathered for the Synod, and then panels to discuss what was going on. There was feedback from the group. There were moments to share thoughts, questions. Young people shared their stories of being present at the Synod or at the pre-Synod meetings, how the Synod has been received in their countries, or what Christus Vivit has meant to the people that they represented. The afternoons generally involved our working groups. There were 18 working groups broken into 4 languages, English, Spanish, French, and Italian, and they gathered to discuss as smaller groups what they had heard and to answer questions that were provided to help us better understand where we go from here. My working group, there were 14 of us from all over the world. I represent the United States. We have representatives from Canada, India, Slovakia, Slovenia, and all over the world. And it was a really powerful experience. The first day we talked about the Synod, kind of the journey that we were taking. We talked about keywords like accompaniment, discernment, and vocation. We talked about how the church needs to listen. We were reminded that Jesus himself was a young person, as our Holy Father Francis reminds us in Christus Vivit. Day 2 focused on the document itself. How has it been received? What was the process that went into writing it? We learned that the document's been well received, but the reception itself has been different depending on where you are in the world. I've learned that I can't just focus, and we can't just focus on our certain circles, because at times there might have been a better reception for those who work in youth and young adult ministry. The most relevant topics that my working group agreed upon were accompaniment, intergenerational relationships, and vocation. Day 3, we talked about going forward. What can we as young people, as youth and young adults across the world, as protagonists, as Pope Francis has called us, what can we do to help enact the Synod, to help bring the vision of Christus Vivit to life? We talked about how accompaniment is a part of the synodal mission of the church. The church must walk together, must listen, but we have to understand that both the youth and the young adults and our elders, as Pope Francis calls them, we can be learned from, and we can all learn. One of the priests who works in the dicastery made this wonderful, funny reference. He said that communion isn't a milkshake, and I think he was looking for the word smoothie. Communion's not a milkshake. It's not homogeneous. It doesn't mean that we don't share our individualities, but it's a fruit salad. Every piece is there. It holds its integrity, and it shares what it has to bring. It doesn't just get lost in the shuffle. Day 3, to end our evening, we had a talent show where the youth and young adults that were gathered danced, sang, did things that were important to their culture. On the last day, Day 4, we had Mass celebrated at the altar of the Cathedra in St. Peter's Basilica, celebrated by the prefect of the Dicastery, Cardinal Kevin Farrell. Right after that, we were taken to an audience with Pope Francis himself. What really struck me was that he talked with every single person there. There were probably 270 or 280 people gathered, yet the Holy Father talked with all of us, shook our hands, embraced us, received gifts, prayed for us. It was amazing. This has been a very intense past 4 days, but one that will bear fruit. I can tell you that young people around the world are on fire for their faith, and they want to be known as something more than just a passive part of the church. We want to be active. We want to be protagonists, not because of any sort of self-centered motivation, but because we love the church and we want to see her grow and to thrive. So thank you for paying attention to the forum. We hope that you'll continue to follow along, and we hope that you'll help us as young people, through collaboration, be the protagonists of the church, so that together we may help her grow and we may help her be strengthened, and we may help her to serve her mission, to evangelize all peoples, and to lead us to heaven.